Welcome to the session on Dr. Journaling. Everybody has pain, and our tendency is just to push it down, ignore it, and try and hope that it goes away. But in reality, the pain stays there until it's actually dealt with. And pain can distort all sorts of things. It can distort the relationship we have with ourselves. It can distort the relationship we have with other people, and it can distort our relationship with God. Anxiety often makes like our concept of God different to when we don't experience anxiety. It can distort, anxiety can shape and distort how we see ourselves, how we see others. And one of the beautiful things about Dr. Journaling is Dr. Journaling helps us to address those tough emotions, those tough things that we've been experiencing in life. And by writing what we're thinking and what we're feeling across the pages, something transformative happens, something changes on the inside of us, and we find healing, we find growth, we find understanding, we find clarity as we write across the pages. For me, Dr. Journaling has been my go-to place whenever I feel triggered, whenever I feel hurt, whenever I feel pain. The first thing that I tend to go to is my journal, and I just begin to write. I begin to write about my feelings. I begin to write about the facts of the situation, what happened, who the characters were in the situation, what they were doing, what the environment was like. Just write it all down, and I write down my feelings that I was experiencing both in the situation and then what I'm experiencing now after the situation. And somehow in the writing, pain gets healed, and also clarity comes, wisdom comes, understanding comes, compassion and mercy comes. Now, sometimes when we're wanting to face it's hard, this part of journaling. It's really, really hard. And so to sit down and to actually write about an event or a situation that might have caused pain in the past, it can be really, really, really difficult. And so before we go anywhere, I just want to remind you, you're not on your own. When you're journaling, you're not alone. I believe that God is with you, that He's helping you write what you need to write across the pages. He's present, He's Emmanuel, He's there with you. And I just wanted to share a beautiful prompt, a beautiful piece of literature that I think is helpful when we're starting to contemplate, do I want to enter into Dr. Journaling? Is this part of my journaling practice or rhythm that I actually want to do? Some of you will be familiar with this prompt, this poem. For others of you, it might be new. So I'm just going to read it just so that you can remember that when you're journaling, when you're doing Dr. Journaling, you're not doing it on your own. One night I dreamed a dream as I was walking along the beach with my Lord. Across the dark sky flashed scenes from my life. For each scene I noticed two sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to me and one to my Lord. After the last scene of my life flashed before me, I looked back at the footprints in the sand. I noticed that at many times along the path of my life, especially at the very lowest and saddest times, there was only one set of footprints. This really troubled me, so I asked the Lord about it. Lord, you said once I decided to follow you, you'd walk with me all the way. But I noticed that during the saddest and most troublesome times of my life, there was only one set of footprints. I don't understand why, when I needed you the most, you would leave me. He whispered, my precious child, I love you and will never leave you, never ever during your trials and testings. When you saw only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. And for me, I know that I have been carried many times when I've been journaling by God. Sometimes the thoughts and the feelings and the sense of presence, the sense of God being with me has been quite profound. You know, shame dies when our stories are told in safe places. Fear dies when our stories are told in safe places. Pain dies when our stories are told in safe places. And our journal can become that safe place. In the 1980s, Dr. James Pennebaker started to look at the links between clients who were experiencing trauma or very painful events and journaling. And what he found was this profound link that doctor journaling can heal our soul, that it can heal our emotions, that it can help bring clarity to our mind. What he found in those studies is that the act of talking, of writing, as we just write continuously across the pages, not worrying about grammar, not worrying about spelling, not worrying about whether it makes sense, but just the sheer practice of just writing across the pages, that it brought about changes both in our mental health and our physical health. He discovered that our mental health and our physical health improved, our anxiety was reduced. He found that sleep improved, that our immune system improved, and that even some immune disorders, the symptoms were alleviated. So they're pretty profound changes that happen within our body when we actually take the time to write across the pages. So how does doctor journaling work? Well, it's really quite simple. What Dr. Pennebaker found was that it took 4 sessions, so 4 writing experiences of anywhere between 15 minutes to 30 minutes of writing, and there would be this significant change. It sounds almost too good to be true, but that's what the research and countless of research studies have shown since then. And so in that 15 minutes of journaling, what you're doing is you're just writing about something that was painful and traumatic. Just choose one event. You just write it across the pages. You're not worried about grammar. You're not checking for spelling. You're not even checking that it makes sense. You're just writing. And you're writing the details, the facts of the experience. Where were you? What season in the year? What did the space look like? The time of the year? Write about the people involved in the story, in the event. What did they look like? What did they say? What did they do? And then write the deep feelings of the situation, how you felt then and how you're feeling as you write. How did your body feel? Where in your body did you feel those feelings? Were they in your hands? Were they in your neck? Were they in your shoulders? Were they in your back? How would you name? What name do you give to those feelings? And where in your body were those feelings? And then when you've done those 2 components, then you begin to explore the links between the facts and the feelings. You give yourself permission to acknowledge the links. How's it affecting your life, your relationships, your goals and dreams? What are the links? Are there any links to the life that you're living now that maybe go back to this traumatic event, that maybe go back to this space? If you find yourself as you're beginning to write overwhelmed or struggling or feeling as though you're drowning, just stop. Just go for a walk. Be gentle. Find something creative, something beautiful to do. And then when you calm down, come back to it. Sometimes we just get flooded. If you have severe mental health issues, then maybe ask your psychiatrist whether this is a good practice for you in this point in time. Sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. You know, doctor journaling is a way in which you can express your full feelings in a safe space in your journal, and it's a relationship that you have with yourself. You're developing that relationship with yourself. You're accepting, you're processing feelings, and you're letting the emotions move forward. You have to understand that it is a form of lament. It is a form of grief. So there will be tears. There could be tears. There could be anger. There could be frustration. There could be all sorts of powerful, big emotions explore. But they are only big emotions. It's a bit like when you watch a sad movie. You can kind of feel sad if the ending ended in a kind of sad way. You can feel that way after you've been journaling for half an hour to an hour, maybe a little bit longer. But eventually those feelings go away, and what's replaced with those feelings, what replaces it is this sense of peace, this sense of, I don't know, almost reconciliation, some healing, some wonder. But we do need to understand that this is a form of grief. You know, in the Psalms, the writers talk about painful experience. They write down the facts and the feelings, and then they make the links between their life situation. And you can hear their distress, you can hear their pain as they move through the pain and the lament and the poison. The pain comes out. I'm just going to read you an example of one. Long enough, God, you've ignored me long enough. I've looked at the back of your head long enough, long enough. I've carried this ton of trouble, lived with a stomach full of pain. Long enough, my arrogant enemies have looked down their noses at me. Take a good look at me, God, my God. I want to look life in the eye so no enemy can get the best of me or laugh when I fall on my face. I've thrown myself headlong into your arms. I'm celebrating your rescue. I'm singing at the top of my lungs. I'm so full of answered prayers. It's okay to feel pain. We get broken by life. And I know this God is always with the broken. He's always walking with those in pain. And often when we write, we will feel big emotions, but they're not going to be there with us always. It's just part of the process. And so just want to encourage you to give Dr. Journaling a go. It's 4 sessions, 15 to 30 minutes. You can do it in consecutive days, or you can do one a week over a period of 4 weeks. It is a key to healing. It can be painful, it can be difficult, but we don't have to be afraid, because pain only has power when we don't confess it. We feel the discomfort of our wounds by writing down our pain. Discomfort somehow heals discomfort. Telling the hard things over time heals. And then what do you do with your writing? Well, between each of the 4 sessions, review what you've written. Circle the negative words, maybe in colour, positive words in another colour. Then you can scrunch it up and you can throw it away, or you can read it out aloud to a trusted friend. And then you can begin to do another writing session, reflecting on the journaling and how it's helped you. So I just want to encourage you to give it a go. You're not alone in doing it. Emmanuel, God is with you as you write. And just see what God might do.